Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. And we have Dr. Daniel Pompa talking about intermittent fasting. We're talking about feast and famine cycles. So enjoy. So, question number one. So, let's talk about you personally for a second. Like, how long have you done intermittent fasting? And what does a regular day look like for you? And have you done any extended fasting?
Yeah, I mean, my book Beyond Fasting teaches basically how to do an extended fast. I have intermittent fasted for more than 10 years, but extended fasts I've actually done longer. Like I said, I fell in love with it in the 90s when it was just me and some natural hygiene geeks, and I didn't even fit in actually because they were plant-based eaters and I was a grass-fed meat eater. So, but needless to say, I love the topic. I've read all of Herbert Shelton's work, and so I believe this about fasting. Our bodies are genetically programmed. Our DNA is programmed to fast. I believe we need fast to reset our DNA, to turn off bad genes, to reset our microbiome, to go through a process of renewal where the autophagy, which we can talk about, gets rid of bad cells and we replace them with new cells. All of that, I think, because we have constant access to food today, is missing. So I believe even one longer extended fast a year is critical. I believe we can get some of these fasting benefits by daily intermittent fasting, which I think has caught on in the last few years. But I think the longer fasts are still missing in people's lives. And again, I believe we're genetically designed to fast, and we need to extend our life.
So, question number two. And a lot of people get frustrated because I feel like they think, I work out, I filter my water, I filter my air, I use natural cleaning products, I eat organic, I take supplements, and, I'm still not feeling good.
Hmm.
And so what would you say about the impact that fasting has on kind of detoxing our body and kind of getting rid of some of the chemicals that we all are exposed to on a daily basis?
Yeah, look, I mean, what I teach is a combination of fasting with my cellular detox because there is a need for both. But let's hone in on fasting for the moment, because fasting does create this autophagy where the body eats the bad cells. And again, that's needed because as we age, we develop more of these things called senescent cells. Those are just cells that live too long, but they cause mischief. They drive inflammation. If you get too many of them, you end up in chronic inflamed state because you're duplicating and you have these cells living too long. You have DNA that starts to malfunction, and eventually, of course, the worst case scenario that leads to cancer. But far before that, you just don't feel well. You don't feel yourself. To your point, your cells become older, inflamed, and now your hormones don't function correctly because every hormone receptor or every hormone attaches to receptors on every cell. So typically the problem isn't the lack of hormones. The problem is the receptor on the cell, which inflammation blocks. So this is an epidemic. Toxins drive that. So part of my process is let's get rid of the bad cells via fasting and this autophagy, where again, let's back up because maybe some people haven't even heard that word. All that means is during a fasting state, the body will get rid of, it's so smart, it gets rid of the bad cells before it would ever utilize a new good cell for energy. It needs energy. So what does it do? It crushes and utilizes the bad ones. That's autophagy. In 2016, the Nobel Prize was won by this Japanese gentleman who talked all about this process. So we know that not only does it get rid of the bad cell, but it stimulates a stem cell and it makes a new one. So after periods of fasting, and again, you get some of that autophagy by doing daily fasting, 15 hours even studies show, but you get a lot more by doing extended fast. So you get a lot of this renewal that takes place, which is a detox because your body is literally getting rid of the bad cells that have been damaged by toxins. But there still is a need. Some people say, well, I can't fast, I feel terrible. Well, that's a clue that you need other detox. So, sometimes we have to support the detox even while people are fasting because the autophagy releases so much toxins, they feel horrible which is, a whole other topic.
Hey guys, if you want to try one of these necklaces, if you want to try any of these EMF tools, go to essentialenergy.us and use coupon code Chantel Ray for a huge discount. That's essentialenergy.us. So you guys know I've interviewed women all across the country that have been naturally thin their whole life with no dieting, no gimmicks. I interviewed over 1,000 women. I asked them, what'd you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And they told me everything. And so I actually have written 4 books now with all of these insights. I have put their secrets all right there. And so if you're tired of just the diet roller coaster and you just cannot lose that weight, I have a book called Waste Away. That's the very first one. That's how I break down how I discovered intermittent fasting, how it changed my body, and how thin eaters, they don't even call it intermittent fasting. They just do it. Fasting to Freedom is another book I wrote. It goes deeper. It's more into the spiritual and emotional side of fasting. It brings clarity and confidence, and it really kind of teaches you how to do a little bit longer fasting. Then I have One Meal and a Tasting. It's my most practical guide. It just walks you step by step through how you can live a sustainable fasting lifestyle and literally the exact things that these women did while enjoying the foods you love. And then finally, a Bible study that's called Freedom from Food. And this is like a 6-week study that you can do with a group of friends. It's really fun to do with a group. These books are the complete bundle. So if you go to chantelrayway.com, we're actually doing one free giveaway for the complete bundle. So if you go to our Facebook group, it's the Intermittent Fasting and OMAD group. Make sure you join. We're going to do a free contest for a free bundle for one lucky person. But if you want it right away, just grab the free bundle. It's the cheapest it's ever been because we want you to get your breakthrough, your body, your rules, your breakthrough. chantelrayway.com. And question number 3. So let's talk about cellular detoxification for just a section. For just a second. What is it, and what is your recommendations for it?
Yeah, so most detox, I think detox is in vogue right now. I think people realize they have hormone dysregulation, even the inability to lose weight despite eating perfect, as you mentioned, exercising, all these wonderful things. That's a cellular issue. And people have realized that, okay, toxins are the causative factor. It's starting to pop up everywhere. The problem is that people are then going to their health food store or their doctor and they're getting the 10-day cleanse. And, those really, I call them poopers. They'll increase your bowel function, which is probably not a bad thing, right? But it doesn't get to where the real problem is. Real detox has to get to the cell. And I have a saying, you have to fix the cell to get well, but specifically you have to detox the cell to get well. So real detox has to get to the cell. What I mean by that is the onslaught of toxins and stress today, they start shutting down your cell's natural ability to get rid of toxins. And when that's functioning day in, day out, you're healthy, you feel great, your hormones work great. But as the cell's detox pathways start to diminish because of the onslaught of stressors and chemicals, well, what happens is now it's not getting rid of toxins and they're building up in the cell. So that's a problem because now you start turning on bad genes. You start not hearing your hormones despite even taking them. You start not feeling well, brain fog, digestive issues, all of it because your cell is malfunctioning. Oh, and you can't even use fat for energy. So when you're not eating, you're like, why am I not benefiting from fasting? Why am I not benefiting from this diet, ketosis or that diet or this diet? It's because your cell has a hormonal inability to utilize fat for energy when you're not eating. And that's mostly a toxic effect of the cell. So therefore, if we're going to fix our hormones, if we're going to get our cells as fat efficient burners, because your cells can only use 2 things for energy, sugar or fat. Healthy cells can use both. When you're not eating, healthy cells switch over and burn fat, which means you're using your own fat stores. Most people, we're finding out, are stuck as sugar burners. So if we can detox the cell, then we can get our cells using fat again. You feel better, you lose weight, you stay lean. I'm in my mid-50s. My wife and I are as lean as we were in our 20s. Matter of fact, I would argue that I'm a little leaner, but anyways, and we're healthier. But again, I mean, I've had my own battle. I have my own story. I was very toxic at one point. And so that's where I really discovered all this information.